Hey guys, this is Shiny. Today I'll be showing you how to edit videos in your iPhone for absolutely free. So I'm going to be showing you the following features: adding and stacking video, changing aspect ratio, trimming and splitting, filters to the videos, test overlays, and finally exporting it all back to your iPhone. So the first thing you want to do is you want to download this app called VN, so you can simply search in your app store called VN. It's available also in Android, so if you're watching Android device, you could do the same thing. So you can go ahead, download it, and open it up. Once you have it open, you will see something like this, the symbol UI. On the right side, right bottom, you'll see a little plus sign. You want to go ahead and select that, and then you want to choose new project. So one of the things I just want to highlight is anything that says pro or has a crown to it, these are premium products or premium aspects of the VN application. So to select those, you do have to pay for. Anyway, let's go ahead and select new project, and we are going to be choosing video based, and then we're going to be choosing a video from our device. You can actually choose videos and photos as well, and so you can simply add multiple things in your device if you want to. I'm going to go ahead and select one video, and on the right side, even though this application doesn't require you to pay anything, at the end of every video, it tries to add this VN title. You can go ahead and simply delete that, and that's it. So when you export this video, you're not going to have any watermark like some of the applications you probably have tried. And obviously, if you're recording this video in an aspect ratio and you're like, okay, well, I need this to be in a different aspect ratio, you can go ahead and select original. So here you can kind of see, depending on where you're selecting or where you're creating your videos for, you can choose whatever. So 16:9 usually is for YouTube videos. So anywhere that the video doesn't fit that 16:9 aspect ratio, it tries to put a black screen. Most of the content creators these days are in Instagram and TikTok, so you can go ahead and select the TikTok icon there, and this aspect ratio is applicable for Instagram, TikTok, as well as YouTube Shorts. So you can select this for doing all that kind of stuff. You can go ahead and simply put the little check mark, and even though the video itself is still continuing to be in the same aspect ratio that you downloaded from or you recorded in, you can actually crop it so you can fit the screen. So you can do that by simply going to crop, and then automatically it crops for you, or you can select the aspect ratio that you're trying to crop for. I'm going to go ahead and select 9:16 and just do the check mark, and through the whole video is now 9:16. That's sort of how you would actually go about editing the aspect ratio. Next thing I'm going to be showing you is how do you then maybe add another video at the end. You saw in the beginning that I selected a couple of videos at a time, but let's say if you want to add more as you're kind of building your video out, you can select the plus sign at the very end if you want to add that video to the end, or you can actually go further to the beginning and you can select that reel with the little plus sign there to add more videos if you need to do so. I'm going to select the same video, so you can see on my top left side it's now 6 minutes and 42 seconds. Before it was 3 minutes, so it kind of added to the front, just like how you can see. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this by simply deleting it just like that. Now we are back to 3 minutes and 21 seconds. So one of the things that you probably want to do is maybe trim your video, because some areas you can see there's no audio, like up to here there's no audio. You can kind of look at the audio like kind of line chart type of a thing to be able to identify, okay, I don't have any audios there. So you can simply go there, and then if you want to, you can just simply trim it just like that. You can kind of trim this back, or if you want to actually, if you're noticing these areas in the middle of your screen, so here you can see there's not a lot of activities that are happening from an audio perspective, you can go ahead and go to the middle and select split. So if you go farther to the left, you have that option right here, and then you can kind of end it at the beginning of the next kind of spike of audio. That you can see it there. I'm going to go ahead and do split again and just delete this calm area. So when you're taking a video, obviously you're going to make a lot of mistakes when you're talking, so obviously split can come very handy when you want to trim those mistakes out of your video. So the next thing I'm going to be showing you is adding filter to video. So you can kind of see there's no filter applied here now. This is just the original video itself. So you can simply select on filter, and you can see there's a lot of options for filter. For any item that has like a little crown there, that means you have to pay for. So you can choose whatever is free. So you can see that this makes it a black and white video. So depending on how your video looks, you probably want to play around with different filters, and you can actually apply that same filter to all of your videos, so it doesn't look like you're jumping from filter to filter. So you can simply select apply to all, and that comes very handy if you have multiple clips that you're kind of stacking together. So that's how you can add filters to the video. And the next very important and very common thing you probably want to do is text overlay. So maybe you're creating how-to videos, or maybe you're trying to bring attention to whatever topic that you're mentioning or talking about in the video. You can simply select the text with a plus sign, and then you can choose title. And here you have a bunch of presets, free items as well. You don't have to pay anything. You can choose those if you want some of that, or you can simply do like add a heading and and then make your own thing. So here I'm just going to call this tutorial, and I'm going to hit the on the top right, there's the check mark there. And let's say if you want to actually increase the size of it, you can actually hold both of your thumb and then kind of expand it just like this, and then you can kind of make it bigger like that. And then if you want, you can kind of use your thumbs again to sort of rotate it and fill it up like this if you like to do so. And then you can actually also change how the text looks. So you can actually add colors to it. You can see color. And there's a lot of presets here that you can play with as well. Depending on what you like, you can do whatever, right? This is for the text color. You have stroke, which is the outline that you're seeing, so you can kind of play with that. You have shadows there, and then finally back, kind of have a full background behind your text. You could do that as well. That's how you actually kind of play around with your text, design it better. Let's say if you want to just throughout the whole video, you want to use the same sort of text overlay, you can simply click this and duplicate, and you can move this over by holding it down, and you can kind of move it to the next area where you want the text and make your changes there. And one thing you can do to the text overlay is that you can add animation to it as well. So if you select it and select motion, it tells you in, out, and loop. And for the in, it basically means when the word pops up, what kind of effect do you want it to give it. I'm going to go ahead and select slide. You can kind of play around with whatever makes sense to you. And then I'm going to choose out and do the same slide. So you kind of have a full continuation of that little animation. So let me go ahead and play that so you can see it a little better.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
And if you want to, you can actually also reduce the size of the text, just like how you trim videos as well. Let's say if you want to record over your video, you do have the ability to add music or record over this video by the little music icon with the plus sign. You can select that. And here you can see music, sound effects, and record. They do have some presets and free music if you want to try those out, or you can record on top of your video by selecting the record option. So if I do that now, it's going to mess up my, my screen recording session here. And then finally, I wanted to just talk about how do you export this video. So on the top right side, there's a little arrow pointing upwards. You want to select that, and then you want to go ahead and change that resolution if you want to make it 4K or keep it 1080p, whatever makes sense to you. You can see how when you're changing it to 4K, the estimated file size will change. Click on export, and when you do so, it's going to give you a little percentage tracker to show when it's going to be done downloading. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you have, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.